All right, we're going to give you a quick review of 2022 in review, things that have happened in our community, things that investments and things that are going on, and then I guess we'll look kind of into 2023 as well.
We'll go into that later. Okay.
Okay.
So 2022 in review, the first thing we're going to talk about is private investment. That's regarding housing, retail, and commercial that's occurred in the last 12 months in Lenoir. Starting in January of 2022, Jersey Mike's located in the Crossroads Shopping Center. You wanted that?
Kids World down at the Thrift Shopping Center area opened up with kids' toys and all kind of great things down there. Collectibles, great store.
One of our employees.
Crystal, yeah.
In March of 2022, Aries Ice Cream opened downtown. Of course, they have ice cream nachos and Joshua's favorite street corn.
Street corn. Love the Spring Festival was in our downtown behind the county office and office building. Last March, Moonjoy Meadery put that together and had a number of vendors. Looks like total 64 vendors, breweries, wineries, and a lot of businesses. And I think they're planning to do that again this year, is what the, at least what I've heard. She's wavering on that, so we don't know for sure. But it was a nice event. It was in the parking lot behind the county office.
Also, Dodge City Steakhouse opened in March of 2022. They took the old Sagebrush, renovated that, and opened and seem to be doing very well.
Where is that one? All right, who pronounces that? There you go. That is in Valmead.
On Main Street.
On Main Street, coming into Valmead right there. The old, there was another restaurant there for a while, but anyway, looks like authentic.
They still operate a food truck as well. Of April last year, the Bluebell Apartments opened up after a lot of work and renovation. That's 46 market rate loft apartments, which are walking distance downtown, and that was built and owned by York Loss and Tom Neiman. That's been a long process to get that going, but we appreciate all the investment they made downtown. I know the city played a huge role in that, Kay Lynn and the Main Street staff, as well as a lot of apartments. I know Radford had a role in it with the brownfield agreements and all the work on that. Plan department had a huge role as well as we went back and had the tax credits for the historic preservation tax credits and to go back 50% off their property taxes.
More to come. Time Capsule Vintage Store is on the corner where the ice cream shop was. It's part of Dead People Stuff Antiques, I think, owns it as well. And they have a variety of antiques and vintage memorabilia in there.
Also in May, Highway 55 Burgers, Shakes, and Fries opened out on Hickory Boulevard next to Lowe's. That was one of the first freestanding Highway 55s. Normally they're inline shopping centers. This was one of the first freestanding with the drive-through.
Lenoir Legends baseball team is playing up at Walker Stadium. They are part of the Old North State League, which is a league all the way across the state of North Carolina. Teams from Morehead City all the way to Hendersonville and up that way. Great league. They're collegiate players who come in and play in the summer. It's a wooden bat league. So if you want to watch some of the kids who are trying to make it to the majors one day, it's a fun league, and it'll start in May when they come in. They already got a schedule out, and we'll actually have a meeting with them tomorrow. They'll be here to talk about what they're planning on doing. They may want to invest some capital in our stadium down there. So we're hoping so anyway, but glad to have them here.
The thrift shop reopening downtown, that was in June of 2022 as well. 906 West Avenue, 80 years of serving the community and 60 years of having a store downtown.
The Highland Thistle, of course, was the Rose Noakes place before. Irish Rose, yeah, thank you. And they've opened. We're kind of waiting to have a more formal. His family, the gentleman and his wife who own it, she is still finishing up school with their children in Colorado, I think, and they'll be coming here full time when the school ends this year. But they are open and operating and kept the beautiful house there as the bed and breakfast.
Also in June of 2022, 4440 Ranch and Cattle Company restored a building downtown at 215 North Main Street, and been very successful. Have a little rooftop section as well, but they sell Wagyu beef in Lenoir, and it's part of the Saunders and the Bumgarner family.
Mavis Tire opened up on 321 back also in June, and very nice store. Went in and met with them and talked with them about what they're doing right beside Aaron's rent to own, and they seem to be doing very well here. I think Mavis is one of the largest tire companies in America, so
it is.
Glad to have them here.
In July of 2022, Wolf Moon Salt Cave and Stress Reduction Center opened. They go back and have the salt cave downstairs, a massage, acupuncture, and all the above. So after this long day, you may go get a massage.
I think my wife's a charter member of that, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of out-of-town folks travel there.
Buck and Babe Boutique opened up on Main Street across from the courthouse there, and a very nice store with a Western-inspired theme in there and a lot of other things, kind of locally owned. And I think they're doing really well, so check them out if you hadn't been there.
In August of 2022, Mi Molcajete opened at 104 Main Street beside of Aries. That's another business owned by Gonzalo Vasquez, and it serves authentic Mexican food, handmade corn, Joshua, and flour tortillas. Okay, over there. They also have a full bar. Been doing very well.
The Southern Sundown 4 Miler is a race that's run through downtown. They start at the Liquid Roots, thank you. Liquid Roots, and they run the race. It's an evening race through town and then around. Some local guys have put it together and have been a part of it, and are planning, I know, again to do it again this year. So it's a fun race.
Taste of Havana, new location. In August of 2022, they relocated to 819 West Avenue, serving authentic Cuban restaurant food with rice and beans and juicy pork and all the fixings there. Great desserts. And then downstairs.
And downstairs, they the part that used to be, we know it as the old Bud's Pub that was down there, is now called the Rum Bar, which is part of it. And they serve a little bit a lighter menu there with things, sandwiches and that kind of thing, appetizers, desserts and things in the basement, in the bar.
In September of 2022, we had the Carolina Tattoo and Art Gathering. This is probably the third year of that event, or fourth year. We've had the event, though, the Tattoo Gathering probably 4 or 5 years, but they moved to the Harper Avenue location, 3-day event featuring tattooed artists around the country, and another successful event at that facility this year, or last year.
A unique event, I'll tell you that. UNC Ortho opened, of course, there at the hospital. You know, a lot of expansion has been going on in the hospital, a lot of remodeling. Ride down Mulberry Street and look at our hospital. We are very, very fortunate that we are UNC Health Caldwell here in Lenoir, and that part of it opened up to give us another variety of things to have.
In October 2022, Popeyes opened at 140 Blowing Rock Boulevard, and they have more chicken, seafood, and biscuits for the community.
Cat's Corner, the 68-unit apartments out on off of Laurel Creek Drive and 18 Wilkesboro Boulevard. You can only enter, of course, from Wilkesboro Boulevard, but they are opening 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, and I think they're pretty full. If not, I believe they're completely full at this point in time, which is great. Beautiful units out there.
Dario, in November of 2022, opened up at the corner of Harper Avenue and Blowing Rock Boulevard at Smith Crossroads. They have 10 locations in North Carolina. Actually, the next one's going to be in Hendersonville. I talked to the folks over there a few weeks ago. But they serve burgers, hot dogs, wraps, sandwiches, and have great customer service, and that's been doing well so far.
Fry Regional also opened up down at the what used to be the old Harris Teeter building, down beside at the old mall area down there, and they're open with cardiology and family medicine practices, a number of things going on with Fry in this region as well.
Last fall, renovation began at 118 Mulberry Street. formerly Bob Gibbons building there. Gail Eugene Paracon invested over $400,000 to go back and have a dental lab on the first floor. They've got retail, not retail, but office space on the main floor. And then upstairs, I think they're going to do a Airbnb. And David Maurer, who was here earlier to speak, helped do the, I guess, architectural design for that structure. So it looks good. They just finished it in the last few days.
The Boomerang opened up in the building that was Michelle Culver's building, Anything Office there, and the other part of it. They also are antiques, collectibles, and all kind of things in there. And they had a ribbon cutting back in early part of January. Nice place. Go in. Matthew bought a fur coat in there. Yeah, really neat coat. He loves that coat. Matthew Anthony.
Other new business relocations occurred. Private investment, Brews and Muse at 219 Main Street. Ben Griffin Realty relocated down to 1035 Harper Avenue, the old Forbes printing building. And R&R Salon at the Courtney opened at 818 West Avenue in the past year.
And the McCreary Cancer Center, of course, is expanding. So wonderful we have that facility here, but they have grown to a point where they need to expand, so there's a lot of expansion going on there. Just part of our continued health coverage that we are getting now in our community that we're very proud of.
Also, permits underway and should be complete in the next few weeks. Chipotle and Aspen Dental, they're located at 139 Blowing Rock Boulevard. You see the structures there that I think, again, in the next few weeks they'll be open.
Planet Fitness is coming into Lenoir in the old Walmart building. They're on 321. That will be opening, it looks like February. Got their permits, and they should be starting on it here in the near future. I guess they all think we need a lot of places to go work out in this community.
Marvin's One Stop building sold. Jesse Plaster acquired that building at 815 West Avenue, and renovations are underway there.
If you can get in it. That's a job. Downtown dental office there at the old Mutual Savings and Loan building is underway, and they finally have gotten their windows in. Advanced Dentistry of Lenoir, and they should be opening up in pretty soon, I would think. I think it's within the next month or so.
Other investments in the community in the last year. Excella acquired additional properties. They bought 1170 West Avenue, a building owned by Ben Griffin for a warehouse. That's a building reuse grant. We got the state for that parcel. That's underway. And also they bought the Maloof building out on now 1201 Excella Way, or maybe 101 Excella Way when they're finished with that, but more investment in the community. And again, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, they didn't exist. Now they have 600 plus employees.
Single family housing is going up all over the community, especially Georgetown Estates, Parkview, Powell Park, Summerhill, Huntington Woods, and in the West End community. There's a lot of building going on across this, which is great. We've needed single family housing here in Lenoir for a number of years. 50
permits were obtained through the planning department this past year. Also, we had 231 zoning permits issued in 2022. That's up from 163 in 2021. And most of that was residential. 59 single-family home permits. As I mentioned before, that's a 75% increase over 2021. And many of these permits, as the mayor mentioned, Huntington Woods, Parkview. And we'll talk about Parkview later, but a lot of that was because of efforts the city took to go back and foreclose on properties with unpaid taxes. That was all private investment. Now we'll move into public investment.
You can talk about code enforcement.
Code enforcement. This past year, we hired a new code compliance officer. In October of last year, we abated 2 properties at Jolly Place and 530 A Wheeler. Both of those were tear downs or cleanups. We also accepted 3 bids on city-owned property this year and sold those properties for folks to go back and expand housing. Also, we worked with ALE this past year. The police department did to go back and abate problems on Oak Street, and I think the next slide may have, and Circle Drive, and both of those have been cleaned up. That's because we had a lot of nuisance complaints there, working with them to go back and file suits against those properties. Got those cleaned up, and we had numerous complaints before, and since that's occurred, very few, if any, calls.
Appreciate the police work on that as well. They did a good job of keeping up with that. Tucker's Gallery improvements in downtown. Of course, we redid the bases on some things there for that. There's 12 pedestals, I think, in downtown. They rotate the art sculpture pieces in and out as they might be sold, and we help them get them in and out. And I think we made some changes so that the bases could be more easily moving the sculptures in and out.
And that's in collaboration with the Arts Council.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, Parkview lot sales in February, Council finally completed all the sales of those lots. We acquired those through tax foreclosure. Wild Winds Farms acquired 9 of those lots. So all those lots in that area, we had over 20 plus that were in foreclosure. And all those have been sold to private hands now, back on the tax books, and some homes are going up out there as well.
I'll let you do this one.
Parking and crosswalk striping, we did that in April last year to go back refreshing up those crossings.
Hotel Street, which is a connection between the new hotel all the way over to is that Laurel Creek? High Brighton Drive. Yeah, there was open during the year, so this made it easier to get in and out, and you don't have to pull out onto 18 and try to turn back against traffic. You now can get out to the light.
Our leaf compost giveaway, April of 2022. We did we get two a year typically of compost. Staff gives leaves or dumps leaves out there, and then folks can come get those for $5 a scoop. So that was underway last year and very successful again.
The litter sweeps, those were, we do those a couple times a year. Appreciate staff. Joshua, he's back there with thumb up, putting it all together and going out and picking up trash all over the community. Get a lot of great comments from that, and I think people really appreciate that we are all being willing to be out and be a part of that as well.
Last year we started the first Lenoir Bicycle Festival. That was put together by Joshua Harris and Matthew Anthony and Parks and Rec. Had 300 people attend that year for the first year. Downtown was kind of blocked off for kids to go back and do obstacle courses and different things to go back and do, and it was very entertaining for the folks that participated.
Chief, you want to tell about this one? They called it an emu.
That happened in May, and it got a lot of national attention, actually. It was an exciting story for folks, but that's not the mayor, by the way, in that picture.
No.
Staff,
Joshua, you tell us about this. The community. Oh, okay.
Staff won 2 Excellent Communications Awards from the North Carolina City and County Communicators, NC3C folks, and the second place for general composition writing, and also for the single family homes article going up in Lenoir. So appreciate those and Joshua's efforts to make that happen.
Greenway, you can do that one too.
Greenway connections. Last year, Public Works went back and connected from the soccer complex out to the parking lot up going toward Parkview, and also made a parking area up in Parkview at Ebel Place and Sassafras. And that helped that subdivision, as I mentioned, those lots sold, so now they have access to the Greenway. Appreciate the work of Public Works making that happen.
Go ahead.
Also last year we received our second Brownfields grant. This was $500,000 awarded in May. This is going to go back and help the property we own on Virginia Street, but also the city service cleaners, also Bluebell, and also we're using that now to go back and look at the steel mill, also the campus, to go back and do environmental work there, to go back and make sure they can go back and do development once they go back, either get a brownfield agreements or not. And American Eford site's on the list too for this year. So we had success with the first grant. That's why we got the second grant.
Appreciate Radford's work with that. He's done a good job with it. Law enforcement risk management review was done by the North Carolina League of Municipalities. Is that Tom Anderson? I think is that?
No.
Yeah.
Matthew Sells.
Okay, came to with us here to review everything, and we got a great report, and we were awarded special merit for what we did.
We had our first neon night ride out on the Greenway out at the Rotary Complex, soccer complex, and you see the bikes there. I think kids had a great time. More than 100 riders came out for that event.
Go ahead.
This past year, Council approved and authorized the reorganization of the Public Services Department, where now we got 2 new folks, and we'll see their pictures in a minute, but we're able to go back and hire Jeff Church and John Hogan to go back and operate these departments, and Radford to oversee that. But it's been a great addition to our staff, and I'll go ahead and jump to the pictures. If you want autographs later, they're here to give those. I think they're $5 to $10 a piece. It just depends on who you are. But appreciate the work they've done since they've gotten here. Well, they've done great work for us.
Man, they made you guys look good. Main Street, go ahead and talk about Main Street.
We got Main Street accreditation, June 2022. We received the reaccreditation from the Main Street, and appreciate Kaylin's work on that. We're the 12th Main Street community in North Carolina, and first, I guess, recognized back in 1984 for that. So appreciate it.
That's right. I was going to say, they've been here and already we're accredited.
already next year, but we're looking at last year right now.
Yeah. Blackberry Festival, of course, has been very successful in our downtown. Of course, it's a countywide event. A record 21,000 or more attended last year's festival, and we're going to have even more involvement in it in 2023. So we'll be
actually the Downtown Alliance is going to be taking that over
right.
as the chief sponsor of that event.
Yeah.
Part of our beautification push, Public Works contracted with Fat Boy Pressure Washing to go back and clean sidewalks downtown in an effort to go back and freshen up the look of downtown.
Central Barbershop turned 100 years old. How many of you had your hair cut in Central Barbershop? We all did. But it's been around a long, long time. So with this past year, we wanted to honor them for 100 years of being in downtown Lenoir, and they were real tickled to be there. The guys were.
This past year during the budget process, we went back and funded 3 part-time fire inspectors for the fire department. They go back. We have over 1,500 businesses that require inspections, and so with those inspectors, we're getting 100 inspections a month by those folks. We're getting caught back up and doing a great job making sure folks are safe in their facilities.
Talk about the pickleball.
Mr. Presswood is not in the building, but last year we funded new pickleball courts at Mulberry Rec. We have indoor courts, but I tell you, it's been slammed. It's probably the fastest growing sport in the United States in recreation right now. So appreciate Kenny's efforts on that to get those installed, but they've been active from dusk to dawn to dusk.
Go ahead.
Downtown sidewalk repairs, part of the ADA plan we did this past year to go back and make sure we go back and correct any deviations in sidewalk. And you see our guys there working to go back, remove sunken pavers to go back and make sure they're level for downtown. Also this past year, we received a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. That's our 31st consecutive year. I'm really proud of that because I guess I'm a finance guy by heart, so you got to make sure your numbers are right. And so appreciate the efforts from the finance department, Donna, to make that happen.
Bike patrols, you go ahead and talk about that, Chief.
Well, in August 2022, we went back and restarted bike patrols in downtown and also on the Greenway. It's a great way for our folks to get out and see residents and patrol those areas. And getting a lot of positive comments with that. But they do city events, festivals, but also just ride the Greenway. And we got part-time guys coming on weekends also helping out doing that.
Let's talk about that one.
Also in August last year, we did some improvements to Jehe Broyhill Park. We received a grant through NC State University Cooperative Extension and the Parks and Rec Department to go back and do a new stormwater conveyance system there. And that was completed in the fall to go back and help with the storm drainage in that park.
Go ahead.
He quit.
This is all your field.
Part of the American Rescue Plan money, we used the funds to go back and purchase a fire rescue pumper. We know about the supply chain and the backup of stuff. This truck was ordered in August, and we expect to get it August of this coming year. But that's, I think, almost $700,000 truck.
And that was supposed to be the fastest.
And that's a fast track truck, so to get it here in time, but it's still a year delay.
Rating, our fire department, of course, continues to have great ratings and earned the Class 2 rating for it, which helps our insurance rates, doesn't it, Mr.
Commercial rates.
Purdue, and all those things. We joined the ranks of, 3.9% of fire departments across the state with a rating of Class 2 or better. So
Appreciate the fire department, also public utilities, because the water comes from them, and also communications side of the house. So appreciate the county involvement in that as well. Took a team effort to get that.
Aquatics and Fitness Center roof, we put a new roof on that, so that building's been around since the 65? 75, thank you. Yeah, I know it's been a long time, and we needed to do some repairs to it, but it's a great facility. We're very honored to have the Aquatic and Fitness Center for people to use, and great for our swimming.
This past year also we received an EV charging station grant, $10,000. They're going to locate that right behind the fire department, station number 1. The bids are going out, I guess, getting that taking place hopefully in the next little bit. 2-port charging station, I believe. Speaking of the Lenoir Aquatics and Fitness Center, we did receive the Part F grant, $500,000 to go back and make improvements there, to install a splash pad, also to do some work down at the soccer complex with a pavilion and shelter there, and make improvements. So overall, it'll be a $1 million investment to the Aquatic Center. Thanks Kenny Story and McGill Associates for getting that processed and for the grant.
You can do this one too.
Also in September, Council approved the reduction in speed limits for Penwood Street, Glenview, Circle Drive, and Ridgecrest Drive. We had some complaints from the neighbors there about getting the speed lowered, and we've done that. I think that's improved some of the complaints we've in that area, and put some rumble strips as well.
That's a very, very narrow street out there. A lot of problems. Looks like, police headquarters, a lot of great upgrades there. New ramps coming in for accessibility for that. And then, of course, we have a beautiful new sign right here, which is, everybody comments on how great that sign looks right there. So.
Also, Council adopted in October a new ADA transition plan for the city. And we made some improvements. You can see on that photo there where some of the sidewalk was sliced back to go back and make sure we meet ADA for the deviations, that it goes back and is more conducive for folks that have disabilities to go back and traverse downtown.
Wood Fire and Smoke Festival, we called it at one point the Smoking in the Foothills. It's changed, a great festival. We'll be coming back in October. Such great fun, but we also have artists that come and do all kind of work and show you how craftsmen and artisans and show you how to do many things as part of the festival, plus great barbecue.
Also, October of this past year, we finally completed the purchase of the Joyston water system. That adds another 125 customers to our system. We already supplied water to them, but now we own the system and the customers there.
App State had a baseball clinic at Mulberry Recreation Center in October of 22. Great turnout. I don't know how many kids we have, Kenny.
Close to 100.
Close to 100 kids. Good. The baseball coaches and players came down and worked with the kids. So it's a good thing to tie those together in our community.
In November of this past year, DOT removed the cross arms and stop arms there on Main Street for the Greenway, I guess the OVT trail. We got a lot of complaints over the years about that. Buses and everybody had to stop on the way to school for that. So that was removed, and appreciate the work. I know Public Works had to call DOT several times, and we got that finally removed, and glad that's done.
Thank goodness. I had a guy call me every morning. Oh, the new lighting at the Mulberry Recreation Center fields, which are great. This is the playground, skate park, tennis and pickleball courts, all at the center, and new lighting was put up there, I guess by Torrance Lighting. I'm sure didn't they?
No, this was done by a local contractor out of Granite Falls.
Okay.
Franklin. We got it says on there, the incentive through Duke Energy, so we spent a lot of money on getting that done, probably about $10,000 savings.
Great.
On that project, and if you've been by there at night, you can see how it's lit up. So,
you don't have to about it, you just look that way.
Yeah.
In November of this past year, we put up our new Christmas lights and decorations. Big hit downtown, thanks to John Hogan and Kaylin for their efforts to go back and get that installed. It looks good.
Go ahead.
Last year we retained Freeze and Nichols to go back and do a capital asset inventory for our facilities, to go back and catalog roofs, windows, doors, HVAC, all those things. And you'll get a demonstration of that next week at Committee of the Whole. They'll come show you kind of what's been put together on that. The next step of this process will be go back and do water and sewer.
Talk about the
In December of last year, Council approved the hiring of a horticultural specialist to go back and work in Public Works Division. This is a new position. They'll go back and create a downtown landscaping plan and also maintain our beds, plants, shrubs, decorative trees, and kind of guide that. Appreciate Mr. Hogan getting that moving forward.
Know who to call. Usually somebody's picture.
828 call Joe. No.
I'm surprised that wasn't up there. There's the contact the city information numbers. I think we've got some things printed out that we hand out
We did.
to people, and
We sent this out in December to folks to let citizens know who to call when they need information from the city on whatever topic they may be working on. There you go.
Santa on the Square was great this year. Santa and Mrs. Claus made several visits to downtown, and kids absolutely loved it. I was going to say a minute ago about the decorations. I had more, and I'm sure all of you did, we had more calls and compliments on that. We couldn't have done anything better for people for Christmas than what we did in the downtown. I know we got great plans again for this year, but people absolutely, I'm still getting comments about it. People loved it, and Santa was great. He came in and did a good job, and Mrs. Claus also did a great job with the kids. They all loved it. And the carriage rides were great as well.
In December, we received a $100,000 grant from the Broyle Hill Family Foundation to go back and dredge the lake at T.H. Broyle Walking Park. So that'll be underway sometime later this year.
You can talk about this.
Street paving. Some of the streets paved this past year included Bill Street, Finley Avenue, Swanson Drive, Rongo Park, Stage Street, Laurel Place. And we'll talk about more of that later today, some of the street paving.
The social district, as we know, we passed that when it came available in January of 2023, so that people can actually walk around downtown and enjoy a beverage and be safe and under a controlled environment. Which is what we wanted. And there it is.
There's a map of the area. Matt Cook Stadium lights. Hopefully, Kenny, are they done today? By Tuesday, right?
All they gotta do is hook up 2 wires and hopefully they get them today or before I leave, but.
The goal is to get this project complete for Mr. Story retires next week. That's his, but want to thank, we raised $230,000, I think, to get this project complete, and all private money. So glad to get that.
Glad to use it again. And of course, there's going to be bleachers as well that will be back in Matt Cook, so it can be used for not only athletics but all kind of events. We hope to have concerts in there at some point in time, and Billy Graham will come back and maybe preach there again. Anyway.
Those are installed.
Those are installed.
We finished them up yesterday.
Oh, good, great.
Last fall, council authorized us to go back and contract for a new downtown master plan. We retained the services of DLR Group out of Charlotte to go back and do that, and the community meetings will be taking place here in the next few weeks. And I think Joshua sent something out yesterday on that, the dates for that. So appreciate everybody's involvement, and if you got concerns or anything you want to see in the future, please be involved in those discussions. We mentioned earlier we received a $580,000 rural transformation grant to look at the campus downtown, specifically the auditorium and gymnasium, to go back and look at the renovations for those facilities we talked about earlier. And there's pictures of the campus as well. And you'll see, I'll go to the next slide, but number 6 on there, last year you authorized the purchase of this structure to go back and be utilized as part of the other property one to the right of that highlighted area for a downtown farmers market pavilion. We don't know exactly what the result will be, but that land is acquired across the street from the campus.
Auditorium renovations, we talked about that a little bit earlier as well. Things are going on there. Actually, as I said earlier, Foothills Performing Arts made that their home several years ago now, and their first play of this new year starts tonight. So it's going on this weekend, and then next weekend I think will be 6 performances there. A lot of things have happened in the facility, and we're looking forward to continuing all the things that we're talking about right now to do.
Also late last year, we were awarded $6.3 million for the Finley Avenue water system improvements. Engineering is underway at this time. Hope to have designs in by August to get that thing bid out, hopefully by late this year. Gill Associates is currently working on those plans.
Wayfinding signs. We've been talking about this for a good while. Things are beginning to move on it, and we're going to have some great designs about that with some sculpture pieces kind of blended into it. And we were working on funding for that, I think, as we speak.
We have an application underway. Hope to hear soon about the final approval. Smith Crossroads sign, that's with DOT right now to get final approval for that. That was funded by the LTDA. $165,000 they authorized to pay for that.
Go ahead.
Hospital.
What will that install?
Depends on DOT approval and the bids and all that. So hopefully this year.
Soon, we hope.
Hospital Avenue sidewalk project underway. We've got I guess designs back for the utility relocation. Duke Powers give us a price on that and hopefully get that moving forward. DOT has the plans. Hopefully we can bid this project in the spring of 2023. It's been the 5-6 year program to get this thing constructed, but we're getting close.
City clock tower, as you know, a clock that's been hanging in downtown for over 100 years. Used to be on the old Bank of Lenoir, and now it's been on the pedestal there in the square. We took it down, and there's some new designs being put together, and some people who are going to be funding this, and a lot of good things going on, working with Joe Bigley, the executive director of the Western North Carolina Sculpture Center, to design the new tower that will hold the clock back on the square. I've had more questions about that too. When's the clock coming back? So.
And Mr. Bigley will be at our meeting on Tuesday to go back and reveal his initial concept for that project. The Smith Crossroads Sewer Project's underway, getting near completion. That's 3,800 feet of sewer line replacement between Mayflower and the golf course. Also some work across Smith Crossroads out behind Viridian and over that area as well to go back so we can abandon the lines under Smith Crossroads. But that project's moving forward. I know that Mr. Church and Mr. Thomas have been working on that a great deal. Trying to get the word out of what we do in the city. You can see the work of Joshua Harris and the communications officer. 114 news releases, over almost 3,000 photos, 37 videos, 360 alerts, answered over 332 questions online, and 400 plus media coverage activity for the year.
Gravity Games will be coming back in April 29th. This will finally be the 10th one. We've been trying to be the 10th one for the last couple of years, but COVID and things changed all that, but they're coming back. This is a great sponsorship with Google, Appalachian State, University of North Carolina, via the North Carolina Science Festival, and of course we in the city of Lenoir, we're all part of that, so we're excited. I don't know, you guys are going to race again? Police and fire?
Got to find some folks small enough to fit in those cars.
Yeah.
Have to use somebody's kid.
Danny Gilbert rode in one of them one year.
You don't think we can get the Chiefs down in those two?
And that's it. But just want to thank everybody, because everybody in this room played a part in all the last year's activities through council decisions or staff making it happen. So just thanks to everybody. Any questions, and you have questions or comments, there's a way to go back to cityoflenoir.com/notify me to sign up for receive city notifications, news alerts, and all the above. So with that, any questions? And Anthony, if you go. So pretty productive year. So thank you.
There we go.